A Shop for Killers Season 2 Episode 3 slows the story down just enough to deepen its characters before launching into another explosive cliffhanger. Instead of focusing entirely on action, the episode explores Jin-man's past, Jian's growing trust in Woo-jin, Babylon's evolving plans, and the emotional connections that make the coming battles even more dangerous. By the end of the episode, Jin finally begins opening her heart to someone. Q's history with Jin-man is revealed, and a surprise return saves Jian's life at the very last second. The episode begins with a flashback set 6 years earlier. Before Jian ever became involved in Jin-man's dangerous world, another important relationship was quietly beginning. The story introduces the Japanese assassin known simply as Q. Disguised as a hotel maid, she approaches a room where terrorists have taken several important hostages. Using her surveillance equipment, Q immediately notices something is wrong. There are more hostages than expected, and several terrorists are pretending to be innocent civilians. Recognizing the danger, she advises her superior, Kusanagi, not to send the assault team inside. Her warning is ignored. Jay and his squad move in anyway. Almost immediately, everything goes wrong. The entrance is rigged with explosives. The blast throws Jay backwards and leaves the rescue operation in complete chaos. During the confusion, Jin-man appears. Believing Q is only an ordinary hotel employee, he quickly pushes her into another room to protect her before continuing the mission. That single moment perfectly captures Jin-man's personality. Even in the middle of a life or death mission, his first instinct is still to protect someone he believes is an innocent civilian. Back in the present, the story reveals just how skilled Q has become. She effortlessly eliminates a target named Dimitri inside a nightclub bathroom before receiving an assignment far more personal. Her next targets are Jin-man and Jian. The mission immediately raises the stakes because Q clearly shares history with Jin-man. Unlike many of Babylon's assassins, her motivations appear far more complicated than simple loyalty. The episode then shifts between several storylines that gradually move toward the same destination. On Hanamdu Island, Jian continues struggling to decide whether Woo-jin deserves her trust. After discovering he secretly transported weapons, she distances herself from him completely. Unable to trust anyone after everything she has experienced, Jian secretly installs hidden cameras around Woo-jin's house and boat using equipment brother previously gave her. Even while pretending to move forward, she cannot stop preparing for betrayal. Meanwhile, another flashback finally explains why Q feels such respect toward Jin-man. During the hotel rescue, Jin-man not only saves Jay's life, but also helps eliminate the remaining terrorists after Q escapes from captivity. Following the successful operation, Jin-man introduces himself as a member of the Korean Special Forces. Jay openly thanks him for saving his life. Q goes one step further. Clearly impressed, she even asks Jin-man to join her for a drink. Although he politely refuses because he must immediately leave the country, he promises they will share that drink if they ever meet again. The scene quietly establishes something important. Long before becoming enemies, Jin-man had already earned the admiration of several future Babylon assassins. That complicated history explains why many of them still hesitate whenever his name is mentioned. Back in the present, Babylon begins preparing for a much larger conflict. Kusanagi unveils a completely redesigned version of Mirthhelp. Rather than remaining a hidden service, it has evolved into a mobile application functioning as an open weapons marketplace. Once enough users begin joining, Babylon plans to place a massive bounty on Jian's head. The strategy is terrifying because it transforms every assassin connected to the network into a potential threat. Jian unknowingly downloads the application herself while trying to understand what is happening. Brother quickly informs her that the app does not belong to their organization, confirming someone else has taken control of the deadly network. The episode also spends considerable time exploring Woo Jin's true character. One night, Jin secretly follows him as he travels by boat to meet an elderly smuggler. Inside the cargo hold, several frightened children are hiding. One young girl has suffered a serious injury and desperately needs medical attention. The smuggler coldly suggests throwing the wounded child into the sea rather than risking arrest. Woo Jin immediately refuses. Without hesitation, he chooses to save the children instead. Before the old man can attack him, Jin suddenly appears and knocks the smuggler unconscious. Together, she and Woo Jin successfully treat the injured girl before safely reuniting all the children with their waiting families. Only afterwards does Woo Jin explain the truth. He secretly helps immigrant families enter the country because many have nowhere else to go. The same elderly smuggler also tricked him into transporting weapons without revealing what the cargo actually contained. Rather than making excuses, Woo Jin insists he plans to confess everything to the police. For Jin, this changes everything. For the first time, she realizes Woo Jin is motivated by compassion rather than greed. Another important test unfolds elsewhere. Kusanagi sends Q, J, and Bale into a nightclub where two rival gangs are already fighting. Their mission is chillingly simple. Eliminate everyone while making the massacre appear to be nothing more than gang violence. The sequence delivers one of the episode's biggest action scenes as Q and the other assassins demonstrate their deadly efficiency. Bale, however, contributes almost nothing. His lack of cooperation convinces the others to eliminate him after the mission ends. Just before they can strike, Kusanagi unexpectedly intervenes. She orders everyone to stand down. Bale still has value because of his connection to Jin-man. The moment ends with an uneasy handshake between Bale and Q. Although they temporarily become allies, neither fully trusts the other. Back on Hanamdu, Jin slowly lowers the emotional walls she has built around herself. The island women finally explain Woo Jin's tragic childhood. After losing both his father and grandfather, and with his mother leaving him behind, the women of the fishing community raised him together. Rather than belonging to one family, Woo Jin became everyone's son. Understanding his past completely changes Jin's perspective. She begins seeing him not as another potential threat, but as someone carrying emotional scars very similar to her own. Their relationship gradually becomes warmer. Woo Jin shares access information connected to Mirth Help. Jin invites him inside for dinner. Most importantly, she tells him not to surrender himself to the police because the elderly women who depend on him would lose the person who cares for them most. For perhaps the first time since Jin-man's death, Jin genuinely allows someone else into her life. She even explains why she constantly trains and fills her home with defensive traps. She expects people to come looking for her. She simply wants to survive long enough to escape when they do. As the days pass, Woo Jin joins her evening runs. The hidden cameras around his house are finally switched off. Jin laughs more. She spends time with the women at the market. For a brief period, she experiences something resembling an ordinary life. Naturally, the series makes it clear that peace will never last. A Chinese gangster named Yang finally tracks down the elderly smuggler responsible for selling the stolen weapons. In exchange for his own life, the old man reveals both Woo Jin's identity and Jin's location. The betrayal leads directly into the episode's explosive climax. While Jin and Woo Jin walk home together, Jin quietly reflects on her childhood. She admits Jin-man trained her to survive, but rarely showed affection. She understands now that he wanted her to become strong enough to protect herself. Even so, she always wished she could have felt more openly loved. Woo Jin gives her the answer she has been waiting for. Instead of focusing on the painful past, he tells her to look at the present. She is loved now. By him. As he gently takes her hand, Jin does not pull away. It is one of the most emotionally significant moments of the season because she finally allows herself to trust someone again. That happiness lasts only seconds. Young and his armed men suddenly surround them. Not only have they found Jin, but they also recognize Woo Jin as the man responsible for taking their weapons. For Young, eliminating both targets at once is the perfect opportunity. Jin immediately falls back on everything Jin-man taught her. She races toward the house, activates explosive traps, and eliminates one attacker before leading Woo Jin into her hidden safe room. Another enemy is caught inside one of her mechanical traps. The careful preparation she has maintained throughout the season finally proves its worth. Yet even Jin cannot stop Young alone. Just as he prepares to reach them, gunfire suddenly echoes through the house. Young and his remaining companion collapse. Standing in the doorway is someone Jin never expected to see. Min-hye. Her sudden appearance completely changes the situation. The ending strongly suggests that Jin-man's surviving allies are finally beginning to gather around Jin. Until now, she has largely fought alone. With Min-hye's return, that may finally be about to change. Overall, A Shop for Killers Season 2 Episode 3 brilliantly balances emotional character development with explosive action. Q's history reveals why Jin-man inspired both respect and loyalty among deadly assassins. Woo Jin proves he is far more heroic than Jin first believed. And Babylon's new bounty system transforms Jin into the most valuable target in the criminal underworld. The final reveal of Min-hye promises that the battle ahead is about to grow even more dangerous, but for the first time this season, Jin may finally have someone standing beside her instead of fighting entirely on her own.